welcome back, and welcome back. Today we are going to be making a chicken chowder. That is 8 chicken breast. I said breast. Chicken thighs. 8 chicken thighs that I've diced up. We're going to use some extra virgin olive oil, some garlic. We're going to use some corn, black pepper, Mrs. Dash, some bay leaves, some butter, a cup of onions, a couple of tablespoons of flour, about 10, I would say it's probably about 10 of those in there, of thyme sprigs that I've got tied up, and some chicken broth. And that is 6 rustic potatoes that I've just diced up. We're going to use heavy whipping cream, and we're going to also use some whole milk. Here's your shot of everything we're going to use to make this absolutely amazing chicken chowder. Let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and season up this meat. And I'm going to put in a couple of tablespoons. Okay, that was 3. And a couple of tablespoons of pepper. And we're just going to mix it up. Get that seasoning on that meat. And then we're going to take that meat and put it in the pan. Well, not pan. We're going to use the stock pot. Dutch oven. Whichever you want to call it. Dutch oven. So I want to get that seasoning on this meat and get the flavor process happening, okay? And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, okay? And now we're going to go over to the pot. I'll be right back. All right, I've had my Dutch oven heating up. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go in with, I'd say, about 3 tablespoons. Enough to cover the bottom of the pan. I'm going to also go in with 4 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to let that butter melt. And once that butter melts, then I'm going to go ahead and I'll be back. So I'm going to let this butter melt in that oil, and I'll be right back. All right, we've got that butter melted. We've got that oil in there. And so I'm just going to kind of cook this for about 10 minutes, turning it so that we can get more of the chicken done. However, we're not trying to cook this chicken all the way done, okay? We just want to get a little browning going on and get the cooking process started. So about 10 minutes, I'm going to stir this chicken every minute in that 10-minute time frame. And then once we get this finished, we'll go to the next step. So I'm going to do this, and I'll come back in 5 and let you see what we're looking like. I'll be back. All right, it's actually been 10 minutes. And so I'm going to go ahead and take all of this chicken out, and we're going to start building from there. So once I finish taking the rest of this out, I'll be right back. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with those onions. You turn the fire down on this, and I'm going to go in with 4 bay leaves. Get all those onions in there. And we're just going to saute these onions up along with that bay leaf. And along with this thyme. And we're going to let this go for 5 minutes. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. 5 minutes. I'll be back. Alright, we let this go for 5 minutes. So now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put in 4 tablespoons of garlic. Okay? And we're going to go ahead and let this cook for about, let's give it 4 minutes. Okay? We're building flavor on flavor is what we're doing. All right? And then eventually we're going to take those twigs and stuff out. Okay? So 4 more minutes, and we're going to give it a zhuzh every minute, and I'll be back. Okay, we've let this go for a while, and I'm going to go in with those potatoes. Okay? I'm going to give them a little zhuzh, which is not necessary, but because I'm getting ready to put in the broth or stock, works just fine in this dish, okay? Broth or stock. You can add more potatoes. You can add more chicken. I like chicken in mine. I love potatoes in mine. You can back up off of it if you need to. So you need to go in with at least 4 cups of chicken broth or stock. I've got broth. That's what I'm going to use. Stock or broth work just fine. And we're going to let these go in here for about 20 minutes. because I cut those a nice size. Not too big, not too little. Okay? So we're going to let those go. We're going to bring them to a boil and let them do what they do. All right? And I'll be back. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make like a little slurry with that flour, which is going to be a little bit of our thickening agent, along with the potatoes, because the potatoes are also do the same thing. I'm just going to put in probably, I've already got this vegetable stock open. That's the reason why I'm using this. I'd rather use a little flavor. So I would say I put in maybe about 1/3 of a cup. I'm just going to mix that up and splash it around on the counter. So you just want to kind of mix that up, and then we're just going to kind of put that in there. You can use cornstarch too if you want to. I just always have used flour when making this dish. Some things I just don't switch up on. Some things I will, some things I won't. But this is one of those things I just don't switch up on. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So that's what I've done. There's my little slurry. Using vegetable broth simply because it's what I already had open. You could use water, but I'd rather stick with a little bit of flavor. So we're going to take this over to the pot, and we're going to put in the last few ingredients and let this baby simmer. I'll be right back. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pour that slurry in. And give it a little zhuzh. And like I said, those potatoes are also a great thickening agent. It'll also help thicken up this soup a little bit for us, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put in that corn. I'm putting it in over here close to the side to prevent from the splash effect, okay? We don't want to be splashed and hit with this hot juice. I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken back in as well. And I'm telling you, you try this once, you will be in love. Now, I prefer to use the chicken thighs because I love the juicier meat. You can definitely use breasts on this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You can make it any way you want to. Your kitchen, your rules. All right? And we're going to let this go for about 15 minutes. Let those ingredients get to know one another. Let them become best of friends. This is not one of my 30-minute meals. But trust me when I say the time that you put into this, you will not be disappointed. So I'm going to let this go for about 15 minutes. And then after that, that's when we're going to add the milk and the cream in this, okay? Which is also going to help with thickening it up, that heavy whipping cream. So I'm going to let this go for 15 minutes. Let them be friends, and I'll be back. All right, the first thing we're going to do is turn that fire down to a low, to a simmer. I'm going to put in 1/2 cup of milk, plain white milk. You can use the 2%. That'll work just fine. And I'm going to put in this whole container of this heavy whipping cream. And then we just have to let this simmer. And that's 16 ounces. And then we're just going to let this simmer. Give it a nice zhuzh. And let it simmer for 20 minutes. And then our soup will be done. Stirring in between that time. Don't just let it just sit there, but stir in between. Just let her simmer for 20 minutes. And this delicious chicken chowder will be done. Look how thick and how big those pieces of meat are. And you want to be able to have meat in every bite. I do. I want meat and potatoes in every bite. All right? So, we're going to let her simmer, stirring continuously. In between that time, every couple of minutes, give her a zhuzh. And so, we're going to let her go for 20 minutes. I'm going to do a full 20 minutes. And I'll be back. And after 20 minutes of slow cooking, there she is. Things made easy with Gigi. All day, every day. Please like, subscribe, and feel free to share. Everybody be blessed and stay safe. You know you're going to see Gigi next time. Absolutely delicious. Look at that. Take care, you guys.